Hello everyone, this is Shaitan bringing you game number 3 in a very interesting best of 3 between two players that have actually both impressed in various ways. We have spawning as the Teal Zerg in the south location on Shattered Temple. Incredible Miracles NesTea, the 3-time GSL champion, one of the greatest players in the world. And then spawning in the north position on Shattered Temple, the Yellow Terran, Imba FX Opens BratOk, who really impressed us with his play in game number 2 on Crest Plateau, where he defeated NesTea going Mass Raven. Now, how much of that was due to BratOk's play and how much was due to NesTea perhaps not reacting properly and getting infestors just a tiny bit late, we don't know, but it was still a very interesting game, and I highly recommend checking it out. So NesTea is scouting the close by air position. He is not going to see anything. This is the Blizzard Invitational, so for whatever reason, the close by ground positions are an option in terms of spawning positions. We'll see if that changes NesTea's decision on whether to go pool or hatch first. He doesn't know yet that BratOk is actually as far away from him as can be. BratOk is dropping the barracks on 12, nothing too out of the ordinary there. We'll see if he decides to get a refinery, which it looks like he's going to do so. No true Rax pressure out of BratOk, going for somewhat of a longer game, I suppose. NesTea is scouting the close by ground position. At the same time, he's going to be taking a hatchery. I would be surprised if he actually were to get too many more drones and be greedy like the last couple of games before scouting this, in terms of going up to 16 or even 17 drones before making his spawning pool. But here he sees that he is not in, BratOk is not close by ground positions. He knows he's far away, so he might decide to go up to 16 drones again, making an extractor at around 200. No, it looks like this time he's just going to drop the spawning pool right away, not go gas before pool after the hatchery. This Overlord from NesTea is floating over here. It should be safe from any sort of early Marine, but we see BratOk is just getting out that first Marine. He looks like he's going to try and deny scouting, maybe go for this Overlord if he really wants to be bold, but we'll see how that works out and what BratOk decides to do. I think it looks like he's going to go for some type of factory build. Maybe we'll just see a standard reactor heli and expand. BratOk is sending out this Marine over here. The drone will see it. NesTea should react. This drone isn't really going to be able to do anything. I suppose this SCV could try to get down a bunker, but NesTea, he's going to have none of that. He already has 2 drones hot on his tail, ready to take it out. The extractor does go up. NesTea begins mining gas. The natural expansion also starts. This Marine is actually going to be able to get behind this bunker. This is a very, very nice positioning by BratOk, because only about this much surface area is available for Zerglings or anything to hit the Marine. However, it doesn't look like this bunker is going to be in range of the hatchery. NesTea does have a spine crawler going up. NesTea is also moving Zerglings out here to intercept any sort of reinforcements. Meanwhile, BratOk is transitioning to a reactor Hellion build. We'll see if he decides to go for an expansion afterwards. It looks like he is. He is building up to about 400 minerals. The bunker is up right now. We'll see what BratOk decides to do with this SCV. I think he's debating whether he wants to build a bunker up here or not. Instead, it looks like he's just going to go up there and scout. But NesTea playing it very, very patiently. He knows that he's not in any risk from this. He's going to move over the spine crawler here, which is in range of the barracks. And I think he's going to try and find that sweet spot where his spine crawler will be able to hit the barracks, but the barracks will not be able to hit him. BratOk recognizes this, salvages the bunker. No real harm done. NesTea didn't even overreact. He only has the 4 standard Zerglings he would have gotten. And we see that things are sort of transitioning into a normal game. BratOk going for the Hellions. He's getting 4 again like he did in game number 1. He's getting stimmed from his tech lab on the barracks, and he's getting a command center. So he's not going to try and do any sort of all-in right now. He's just gearing up for the macro game. Meanwhile, NesTea has begun research on metabolic boost. He's going to have that fairly soon. He still has that trademark NesTea 1 drone still on gas. I really like that. It gives NesTea the option to get a Baneling nest if he does see, signs of some type of big bio push coming in, but that's not happening, but it's still a really nice thing to have. BratOk does have 4 Hellions out right now. He's getting another 2. This is actually a bit more than we see from most players. A lot of times you see players just getting the 2 Hellions, just kind of trying to deny any sort of creep tumors, but BratOk will have none of that. He's deciding to go for 4 and 6, actually do some damage. NesTea is trying to decrease the choke point right here and put the Hellion and put the Evo Chamber there. BratOk is not really able to do that much damage. He's killed actually maybe one worker. with that attack if that wasn't the scouting worker that died earlier. I'm not 100% sure if BratOk was able to kill that with his Marines. So he was able to force a couple Lings out of NesTea, but NesTea's going right back to droning. He's ahead 41 to 23. That's actually really impressive. I'm kind of surprised that BratOk was able to fall behind that significantly, although he does have this orbital command morphing. NesTea is taking all 3 of his gases. He's morphing the lair. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mutalisk out of it. It's a really great map for that. The Mutalisk can always stay in this area, harass the natural, then go up over here, hide in the cliffs over here, and harass the main. NesTea's actually sneaking an Overlord over here. He's able to sort of keep an eye on the mineral line. He'll be able to see that the second gas is taken. He should be able to take all of this information and sort of amalgamate it into an idea of what BratOk is going for. We see here that he's actually making 3 barracks. He has the tech lab. The stim is almost done on the first barracks that he made. He's actually moving his factory. He's going to probably start a tech lab. No, it looks like another reactor. This is very trademark what BratOk does. He always uses this factory to make another reactor. He trends toward using a big heavy bio push with some medevac support and getting tanks very, very late. I wonder if NesTea is aware of this, because if he was, a very strong early Roach push would probably defeat him. I think NesTea is just going to play the safer game, go for the long-term macro. He's getting a macro hatchery. He has a Spire going up somewhere, it looks like, at the natural right here. Double Evo chambers, a very nice sort of narrowing of the choke to this ram. He could probably block it off with 1 queen. He even has a Spine Crawler on the main. I would have liked if that was a little bit more to the west to stop drops over here. And the fact that NesTea doesn't have any vision of this area is kind of troublesome. But, you know, NesTea should be fine. He's getting +1/+1, getting some Zerglings. He's ahead in Harvesters 34 to 50. He's getting the Overseer to see exactly what's going on. He's sort of patrolling around. He's going to know when NesTea leaves, and he's well aware of these Hellions, but they're not really able to do anything. I would really like for him to start taking this down in the back, oh, and there he goes doing so, and the Baneling Nest is almost done, so NesTea is just gearing up for the very standard Ling Bling Muta mid-game. This can be very effective against the bio with, hopefully there will be some tank support nearby, but against just a pure bio medevac push, I think that NesTea is going to be able to easily crush any sort of aggression that comes his way, just because the siege tanks won't be there to provide the AoE needed to take out the Banelings. We do see Combat Shield finishing, Terran infantry armor also about maybe a quarter of the way done, so I'm not really sure if BratOk is trying to gear up for some sort of a timing attack. It looks like he is moving up, but whether this is just sort of to feign pressure or to actually go in, I'm not really sure. I wouldn't like for him to go in right now. I mean, I think that the Banelings that NesTea is going to be able to morph should be enough to kill it, but he's not morphing, and he really has very limited amounts. Just 22. Oh, there we go. He has 10 Banelings. That's going to be more than enough to make BratOk withdraw. He's not going to be able to kill all of those, even with Marine King level micro. So that's enough. That's going to be enough for BratOk to to fall back to his base. He's starting up a 3rd command center. I really like this. He's trying to stay. He's willing to go into a macro game with NesTea. He knows how strong his macro is. Meanwhile, NesTea has taken down these back rocks. He's probably going to expand there very soon, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see after the Mutalisks come out and force away the Hellions for him to begin taking down these gold rocks and taking the gold base. Well, the Mutas are in. The missile turret is up. There is one in the main base as well. He might be able to stop this one. No, he doesn't. All the missile turrets are up. The Mutalisks haven't been able to really be that effective, but NesTea hasn't lost any of them, so he's probably going to be okay with that. Meanwhile, NesTea is getting +1 air attack. He's getting centrifugal hooks for his Banelings and +2 melee attacks. I really like this. He's actually basically able to stay ahead of BratOk. I would like for him to be getting some type of Carapace upgrade as well. He does have +1, so he's going to be slightly ahead of BratOk actually right now. BratOk just having his armory finished up, which is a prerequisite for the +2 and above weapons upgrades for the Marines. And NesTea is just continuing to make a couple Mutalisks. He's making actually more units than I would think would be, I guess, normal for NesTea to do so at this time. We've seen in his game on Shakur that he was very willing to stay on a minimal number of units and just drone up very heavily to set up a almost unbeatable late game scenario. But we see here that he's actually playing it very, very safe. He has 53 Zerglings, 17 Banelings out right now. That could have been another 4 Mutalisks, but he wants to make sure that he's not going to die to any sort of a mid-game timing push from BratOk. I wonder if he would have changed his mind in making those if he knew that the siege tank tech was going to be so late. I mean, we see here that NesTea knows that the factory didn't have a siege tank on it, so I'm kind of curious to see what exactly he was worried about with this push. He is going to be doing a little bit of damage at the gold base that BratOk took as a third, killing about 3 workers, nothing too significant, but it's always good to keep the fear of the Mutalist in your enemy. We'll see if NesTea is going to try and take out these Hellions. He does swing in, he's probably going to be able to kill 1 or 2. Oh, BratOk actually not reacting in time, but NesTea still only able to kill 1, bring another couple of them into the orange. He's probably going to take out these Marines in the middle to set up control of the Xel'Naga, and we see that NesTea is just droning up very heavily, making another 16 drones. That's going to bring him up to about 94 drones, I think. 94 drones, which is basically the maximum you want to get to in the mid-game. You want to build up that economy, make a bank, have defense to defend against any sort of attack that's coming, and then eventually when you transition into the hive, you want to switch over, make about 15 or 20 of those harvesters into spine crawlers in the middle, slow down any sort of Terran push, so you're around 80 or 70 harvesters, and then the rest of that into an army, so that your maximum army size is not too tiny. We see that NesTea is already on 6 gas. He's getting his 2 gas at his gold expansion. Gas is the limiting resource for Zerg, so the ability to be on 8 gas means that NesTea will probably be able to make whatever he so desires. We see him making more Mutalisks, getting all sorts of upgrades. He's already at +2 melee attacks. He's getting +2 Cerebus, +2 air attack. He's getting the infestation feed. He's continuing to make Mutalisks. He's at 19. He'll be at 21. This sensor tower is going to be useful to BratOk for sort of guiding the way that his forces are going to go, but NesTea can always swing around the entirety and come into here without any sort of forewarning. I think that's what NesTea is doing. He's going around the entirety of the base. This army is going to be very hard pressed to get back here before NesTea takes out this missile turret and does significant damage to the mineral line of BratOk. In supplies, NesTea is max. BratOk close behind at 174. In terms of harvesters, BratOk at 68, NesTea at 96. BratOk is actually doing quite well in terms of holding on to this macro game. He's actually getting another command center. He's willing to take this into the late game, but I think that's where NesTea shines. We saw that in game number 1, especially with this more standard sort of Mutaling bling ball. I don't think, it doesn't look like BratOk is going to be going for any sort of mech-based play transitioning into air Terran, and so I don't think his normal late game is going to be enough. NesTea did do a little bit of damage, taking out an engineering bay and about half the health on the armory, but he wasn't able to actually, do anything more than that, and then he lost a couple of his Mutalisks to this big wad of turrets over here. He was able to take out a drop before it was able to do any sort of significant damage, and I think NesTea has to be happy with the situation he's in. He's taking his 5th base. His hive is about halfway done. Pathogen gland's more than halfway done. So he's gearing up rather nicely for the late game. His upgrades as well are phenomenal. I know BratOk is getting +3 melee +3 infantry attack, but he's still only on 1 armor, whereas NesTea is already at +2/+1 with his +2 Carapace going to be finishing up soon. BratOk is moving out with his 9 tanks and 63 Marines, but I think NesTea just has enough that if he were to set up a multi-pronged attack, it's going to be enough to destroy him. NesTea's moving in right now, taking out missile turrets, taking out supply depots just as much as he can. He has about 20 Mutalisks right now with +2 air attack, which is going to be more than enough to take out any missile turrets. BratOk is posturing in the middle with these tanks. I really like the positioning here. Maybe a little bit more layering here so that when Zerglings are attacking these front ones, the back ones will still be able to fire on them. The one problem with BratOk, I think, though, is he hasn't really been all that on top of clearing out this creep, which means that the Banelings are going to be moving quite quickly on here. I think BratOk is at a bit of a loss as to what to do, and he has a ticking timer right now. The Greater Spire is just 70 in-game seconds away from finishing. BratOk is max, but he doesn't have any sort of a bank. NesTea has 6K700 banked in reserve, so even if he loses this entire army, he can remax on Zerglings almost instantly, and BratOk will be able to do no such thing. BratOk is getting vehicle weapons level 2, but I think he really needs to get either Ghost production or Viking production if he wants to be able to deal with the incoming Broodlord transition. He is sending a small force of Marines in to take out the Queen. He's going to be doing so. He's going to lose it all to the Banelings. It's a tiny loss for him. He's lost about 13 Marines to that, but NesTea is refilling with higher tech units and Infestors, which are out. I think NesTea is just waiting for the perfect time. He has a big counterattack. These Banelings are going to take out the entire mineral line at BratOk's gold. He lost 30 workers there. This has to be an indicator for BratOk to move in. He's not going to be able to beat NesTea coming from this. He is trying to take out the gold. I'm kind of surprised NesTea hasn't come to defend this. It's just 4 Marines. Are they really going to be able to take out this gold? It looks like they are. NesTea's okay with this. It's not that big of a deal, I suppose. Although a drop did take out the 5th of NesTea as well. While all of this is going on, BratOk is also taking his 4th base. He's morphed it into a planetary, but I think BratOk is way behind just in terms of harvesters. It's 88 to 29 harvesters. That means that BratOk needs to go and do significant damage to the backbone of NesTea's infrastructure, otherwise he's going to lose. He has moved up into a slightly better position. This main is not, this gold is not going to be able to be mined up on, but NesTea is just waiting for these Broodlords to finish morphing. BratOk has absolutely no answer to them. No Vikings, no Ghost production. He has just one starport with a reactor on it. No reactors with tech labs on them. The Mutalisks are also moving in. They're able to do damage to the supply line. There's just 10 or so Marines. That's going to be enough to maybe keep them away for a little, but nothing long term. The Broodlords are moving in. They're going to be able to break this siege line. The siege tanks are just doing a lot of damage to the siege tanks. There are a couple of brave Marines move in to try and take out the Broodlords, but all the Broodlords survive. This is going to be game over for BratOk. He's not going to be able to do anything to change it. He's just begun Viking production, but that's just not going to be enough. The siege tank he's accused NesTea to move in. He's going to take out every single siege tank of NesTea. I don't know what he's doing with these drones. It's a bit of sloppy play from NesTea, losing the Infestor, but these Broodlords are going to be doing significant amounts of damage to the Marines, especially with the siege tanks firing on them. But he is going to, BratOk wises up, he unsieges the tanks. NesTea is going to lose all of these Broodlords. And it seems we've reached a bit of an equilibrium. The one thing that NesTea has going for him in this situation, though, is his bank is massive. He still has 5k bank, even after making 48 more Zergling. He's re-expanded the gold. I'd really like for him to take this 5th base again. Also, NesTea is going to intercept this drop. He should see it. He's moving. He's going to take out 2 fully loaded, well, 1.5 loaded medevacs. That's going to be a pretty big deal for BratOk, who's down at only 123 supply. He's down at 300 minerals. He has the gold, like a gold base, but really no harvesters, so to speak of. He's down to 31. His harvester production has not really started up again. He needs to be more on top of that. Meanwhile, NesTea is still at 74 drones. This is the advantage of being up at 100 beforehand. You can afford to lose about 20 and still be at a really good number of drones. BratOk only has 3 Vikings against this army. I don't think it's going to be enough. NesTea is keeping a number of corruptors to be able to deal with this. He still has the Mutalisks. Those will be able to deal with the Vikings, especially with the Mutalisks having +2, and they're going to have +1 Carapace soon. This means that NesTea is going to be able to just sort of corner BratOk into this base. I wouldn't be surprised if he can even take this west side expansion for himself. This planetary fortress is going to make it difficult to engage into it directly with any sort of ground army, but the Mutalisks and the Broodlords are going to be able to sort of rain down destruction on that area. These Vikings are being way too brave. They need to not go anywhere near this army. There's just simply not enough to take out the ground arm or the air army of NesTea, and they don't have any upgrades. Compare this to the +2, +1 corruptors that are going to be coming out, and I don't think it's going to work. There is this drop, which could do some damage to the 5th or 6th of NesTea, but NesTea spots it. He moves all of his Zerglings there, and he's going to be able to take this out without it doing any sort of damage. NesTea does. Oh my god, what is NesTea doing? He moved his Broodlords over to the west with absolutely no support. The Vikings and some Marines are coming over here. NesTea's going to lose all of these Broodlords for nothing, just the cost of a few Marines. A terrible mistake from NesTea. I can't see any real reason for this to be a viable move. I guess he did want to take out the ramp, the rocks at the ramp here to do some counterattacks, but it's a planetary fortress. He's not going to be able to do that much damage. And come on, NesTea, you can see, and now the Corruptors are going down. Oh my god, NesTea just doing horrible amounts of miscontrol. NesTea, you can see the sensor tower right here. Go around it if you're going to do anything. I don't know if all of this will be enough for BratOk, because NesTea still has 89 +3 almost +3 lings. He has 25 Banelings, and now the army comes in. They are able to reach the tanks before they siege. The siege tanks are all going down. The Banelings are still rolling, so the Mutalisks are rolling through the Vikings. The Banelings are taking out almost all of the Marine Force, 170 supply to 100, and NesTea wisely pulls back. He knows he can't engage into this planetary fortress, or else he'll probably lose all of the fortress. But still, NesTea is now on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases versus a 4-base Terran. The 4-base Terran has one of his bases almost mined out. 2 of his bases are mined out, basically. He's functioning on maybe 1.5 bases. Meanwhile, NesTea is doing a counterattack here. He pulls back when he sees it's a planetary. The Mutalisks are still going to go in and going to try and stop this command center from being completed. As BratOk does cancel it, he gets 300 minerals back. And NesTea swings back around to do as much damage as he can with those Mutalisks. He's taking out a couple of the SCVs at the gold. He's preventing BratOk from doing really anything. He's still about even on income, but this is only because of the mules. Meanwhile, there's a drop over here at the northeast expansion. He's going to be able to kill this 6th base. NesTea's a little bit slow to react. These forces are simply not going up there. A small contingent looks like it's hesitating. It's going out. I don't know if that's going to be enough to take out the drop, but BratOk loads back up. He's probably going to want to go back as soon as he can. Now there's this big army moving in, but BratOk isn't microing. The Banelings take out almost everything. I don't think that's exactly what BratOk had in mind when he decided to move up there. I don't like the NesTea sacrificing these Mutalisk for nothing, but here we have the drop continuing on. It's going down into the 4th base. NesTea does have the slings down here ready. They're +3/+3. They're going to be able to stop this, assuming they don't get like screwed up by the pathfinding, which looks like they are. NesTea need to move these around to the other side. The Queen is taken down. NesTea is actually losing all of these Zerglings just because of the positioning behind the mineral line, but at the same time we have a massive counterattack from NesTea into the 4th of BratOk. He loses actually the entire planetary fortress, probably to a Baneling attack. I don't think BratOk is going to be able to recover from this. It's 83 to supply to 190 supply. NesTea still has 2k, 1k in the bank. BratOk has a little bit of a bank, but he doesn't have any sort of economy, so as to speak of. His income is down to only 600. NesTea is going to be able to attack this base and take it out as leader. This is basically the last mining base of BratOk. He has no SCV, so as to speak of. Here we have NesTea still on 5 bases. Sure, he doesn't have this. His 6th base was taken down, but I think NesTea is going to be able to take this game rather easily. I would really like for him to drop some overlords over here, so you'll be able to see the incoming drops. But with 70 harvesters to 25 harvesters, I don't see NesTea losing this. This drop is still floating around, trying to cause trouble. It looked like he did force pulling of the drones over here, but NesTea just needs to put these back on the line. He was able to force them to pull away with the slings. He's dropping these 3 Marines here, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything. NesTea already pulled away the drones. They might be able to kill a couple over here, but NesTea is pulling slings over to deal with it. I think BratOk is just going to be forced to go in right now with this army consisting of 35 Marines, 6 tanks, and 9 medevacs, and do as much damage as he can. Killing off his professors is nice, but it's not going to be enough. He's just going to have this crushed by the 154 3/3 adrenal gland slings of NesTea. Couple of Broodlords and an Infestor. This is just going to be game over if he pushes any farther out. I think NesTea is going to wise up to this, and he's going to take out this drop, and then he's going to come out and crush this army. He might not even need the entire thing. He could probably take not with just that. But these Corruptors are ready to deal with the Vikings. I think NesTea is ready. He knows that he can win this. He's going to move in for the kill as soon as he gets all of his army as well. It looks like BratOk is moving in. He's not willing to give NesTea the chance to get the situation, but it doesn't matter. The slings are so fast, they're moving in. I'd really like a flank coming in from a couple of sides, but I think just moving his way to victory is going to be enough for NesTea to take this game. He's up 200 to 146 life. These Vikings are being brave and trying to take out the Broodlords, but actually he probably could have stayed there and done some more damage. There's only 1 Infestor. It looks like 2 of them. NesTea is making more and more Banelings. He's going to be have about 50 Banelings when this is all said and done. He's going to just be able to roll through and sacrifice them on tanks, whatever you want. BratOk is trying to take this 4th base, but it's being denied by this Zergling. BratOk's income is down to 320. He has just this 1 mining base. This is basically going to be game over for BratOk as soon as NesTea decides to force the issue. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't just gone, and he has to know that BratOk has nothing. He has vision of this base, and that base, so he really should know that there's really nothing going. BratOk has nothing going for him. He should just go in there and kill him. These Broodlords are taking a little bit of damage to the Vikings, but I don't think it matters. BratOk does, or NesTea moves in with Banelings. Banelings take out a big clump of them. All the Marines are going down. The tanks are going down. NesTea still has plenty of units left over. He is going to be attacking into the fortified area, but I don't think he cares. He's going to just sacrifice all these Banelings into the planetary fortress. No, NesTea actually pulls back. He is playing so safe. He does not want to get knocked down into the loser's bracket right away. It is 71 harvesters to 20. The income, NesTea has 5 or 6 times as much income as BratOk does. I think NesTea is just trying to figure out where exactly he should go. These Vikings are all going to die. It's 140 supplies, 665. I don't think BratOk can come back in any way. This base is still not able to land. They were finally able to kill the Zergling, but more Zerglings just came to take their place. I think NesTea is just trying to be absolutely certain that there is no possible way he can lose. And there is nothing wrong with that. He has 3 times the supply. There's a Zergling run by into the main base. There's not really all that much in there, but I guess he can take out, missile turrets, add-ons, whatever, what have you. And then he runs by. All the Banelings run in. They're going to lose some of them, but look at all of these. The SCVs are all going to die. There's still Banelings going in. They're going to take out these Marines. Expected GG from BratOk any second. He's just simply outclassed by NesTea in this game. We saw a great game from him in Game 2 on Shakura Plateau with the Mass Ravens, but in these standard games, NesTea's skill and experience just shone through. BratOk down by over 100 supply. NesTea still with 1.5k in the bank. His bases are all saturated. Really all BratOk has going for him is this, but that's not going to be enough to win this game. Just BratOk kind of coming to terms with the loss. He should be GGing here any second. And NesTea going to move on into the second winner's bracket round. BratOk dropping to the loser's bracket, and here we have the GG from BratOk.